Okay, everybody, this is the August 6th meeting of the Conservation Advisory Council. I call the meeting to order. Start it now. First thing we're going to do is review the minutes of the June 4th. We didn't have a July meeting because we didn't have to discuss and people were away. So anyway, any questions on the minutes? Accepted by everyone?
Yes,
Okay, we all approve?
all in favor? Aye.
Okay, very good. Okay, what do we have? Okay. Let's see if I have the plans. Here we go. Okay. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is the articles for publication. Now, we have two of them that Roxanne has done, and we're going to just review them and see whether we put them into some way into the issue them to the paper or have them at the Green Options Fair. So let's just look at them one more time. Are they online, Roxanne?
I don't know if they ever made it online. I know I had made that request, but I didn't check, so I'm not sure. Are they, you know? Yeah, there were two articles. When we were trying to do some regularized articles, and the first one I wrote was, what is the Conservation Advisory Committee? And it was just kind of the history, what the state of New York mandates, and then, just a little bit about roles and responsibilities. Because there's a lot of, there's preservation, conservation, just, for the public to understand the distinction of what it is that this committee is intended to do. So there is that one, and we ended up, just to catch up, just a little bit of confusion about, did we need approval from the town supervisor or the attorney or whatever? So it bounced around for a number of months with a lack of clarification. The last I knew, they were going to find some sort of a home on the town site, and I don't know that it ever has. And then the other one is, we were talking about pesticides. I know that that's item 4 here, but I did meet with Mark, and we brainstormed what we might be able to say to provide some level of guidance to the general public as it relates to use of pesticides. And so that one was written as well. But short of that, I don't really exactly know. And the other one I just mentioned to Howard is that we had also talked about, and I know Dan was going to provide some level of guidance on invasive plants, because we had wanted to get something out there as well. And last I recall, Dan had mentioned that there's a Long Island,
Long Island natural and invasive species list that we
There's a list.
put on
So I don't-
the website. So
That
Right.
it might be a little outdated. There is an invasive plant list on the website from
Oh.
2020.
yeah, no, that's okay to keep that. This was
Yeah.
another update we were doing, so that's all right.
Okay, just see if there's an
Yeah,
updated
just see where
version.
they are, because if there isn't, the other committee is working on the pesticides too. I think water
Right.
advisory or something. So
I think they probably are as well. So there was just a little bit, we had talked about it initially, saying we wanted to do something, but then and this is actually, I think perhaps a more generalizable statement, and that is, it would just be helpful to know, should we be collaborating with another group, or does somebody else have that task, and then they would just maybe get it to us for review, because there is a bit of diffusion of responsibility sometimes, and you don't exactly know how to proceed. So
maybe you could just follow up with Jessica and
yeah,
and
I'm happy to do that. That would be great. All right, sure. Yeah, let me do that. Okay, thanks, Howard. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jess.
Next one is the wetlands application. Is Matt on? I don't see Matt. No, just, well, we got the
Wow.
important people, Pam is on.
It's here, good. Right.
Okay, I'll go through it. This is the Tesoro property, which is at 1 Seagull Road. It's in an area that I think I've only been down that area once before. So I wouldn't want to get down It's very nice, pretty.
It's actually created by dredging,
They dredged up.
a lot of it.
Yeah, I was wondering, because like the Seagull Road is an asphalt road.
Right.
We're getting away from asphalt that close to the water. It's within
No, it
a,
was, when
they did it, there wasn't.
when Gars did the subdivision down there in Shorewood, they created that whole little area. They dredged up that canal that ran back and all that, and they pulled that up, and then they made, this is back when you could do what you wanted,
Yeah,
and they did.
that's right, and they did what they wanted.
So,
It's
that's
a
like,
beautiful sight. I mean,
no, it's great, there's a hurricane, but, it's
yeah,
it is what it is, but all those places are low and,
yeah, well, that's why I guess we got it. I guess they're new owners, I'm not sure, but whatever. It doesn't matter whether they're new or existing.
yeah.
Do it, so. It's, I was down there at the high tide or so, and the water's way up on the thing. So I had a couple of times where I might start off and see. Well, we come.
Was it close to where they had the mean high water or not? They showed on the.
No, yeah, it was underneath the dock there. I walked
Right.
the dock and stuff like that, so
Right,
pretty close to that,
yeah.
to the markings of the property line going out.
Mhm.
One thing I've found out there is that, the wetlands delineation is pretty good there, one side. Actually saw in there, I guess it's a drip line that must have been put there years ago or something, and I just want to might as well just leave it.
Oh, irrigation, you mean, or?
Yeah, irrigation drip line along by the dock there, but I mean,
Right.
I was thinking maybe we should take it out, but it could be more destructive to the environment than just leave it. It's not working, I don't think so.
Right.
It's just a small line. So, anyway, whatever, the wetlands delineation it's 4 years ago. And
Right.
I think everybody realizes how much the tides have been changing in the last 4 or 5 years. And I don't know, it's a good marking to start. It won't change much. It might probably come up further, but towards the house. But it's just noted that, it's 4 years ago. Maybe they should have done a later one. I don't think it's going to change that much.
Right.
Down there, so, not for our purpose anyway. Second thing I had was that they want to construct the pool, a balcony off the house, the septic system, cistern, etc. And they do not, all of these, as the denial says, from the town, is that they're in the wetlands. And, they the code 133, the zoning code says nothing within 100 feet. And you can see that they're putting stuff in there. There was stuff in there now, but take a look at that. That's just a note that we have. And they don't comply with today's codes.
Right.
They're in the area that doesn't comply. Now, I don't know what to do with that. The septic is one of the interesting ones because it's going to flow right into the inlet there, Mabel's Creek.
Right.
I don't.
I mean, that's where the existing one is.
Yeah, the existing is right there.
So the only thing good is at least it won't be all nitrogen flowing in there like it is now.
It won't be the high nitrogen. Yeah, we cut it down to like 10% or something, which is the only good thing. But then again, as we go along,
Are they putting a new well in or
no,
using the existing?
it's existing well. That's where they're measured from. And you see, my problem with the health department, they're not going to make a change. They're going to have the well there and try to keep 150 feet, and they'll make all the changes that they can to accommodate the owner.
Right.
It's there, to do the best job they can. But I'm a little bit against having that septic system. I don't know, but that's,
Well, I
there's no
guess the-
place else to put it.
I guess the flow from the, is towards the creek.
Yes.
So they put the septic and they put the well down by the creek, then it would be,
Oh,
a problem too. They've done that. They used to do that and it never worked out because they always ended up with salt in the wells. They ended up changing around,
yeah,
like over by you.
yeah, of course.
All those houses along there, they did that and they put the septic up by the road and they ended up having to swap it around.
Yeah, they had to swap it.
So they probably did all the testing and all that ahead of time, figured it out. But
It's
I'm surprised to see it that close, but
It looks like they're putting it.
I was just going to ask, do you have a recommendation? Is there an alternate location that you?
I don't think so because all the other neighboring, there's a well right there. You see the corner of this house?
Right.
The trouble is there's not much water down there because it was all dredged up and piled up.
Okay.
So like where that road is was the only solid really land. And you see that house down by the bamboo?
Mm-hmm.
They used to call it the old captain's house. They filled all that in there too. So like where he's got his garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just all swampy.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And whether, I mean, a pressurized system would be better, I don't
No,
know.
I don't think so,
Make
really.
that much of a difference anyway, right?
Not
Because
really.
they're building it up. And by the code, 129, we're not supposed to fill in that area. And they're filling in order to install the septic system.
Yeah, I mean, it went through board of reviews, they must have done all the.
That's right, they have the health department here, application, New York State. But if you look at the elevation, it doesn't match what's on the site. But,
Right.
like, I'm looking right now, the problem I have also here is that we have 3 C1 drawings, all titled proposed site plan. At least if there was something said. Now, Matt separated them somewhere on his front page, like
Yeah,
one is for survey not stamped, one is DC, but the titles of all the C1 are exactly the same.
right.
I can see, I think that's gotta be changed, at least say, for distribution to the wetland, to the health department. So you know what we're talking about. It's crazy. But it's very confusing to me.
I mean, I don't know really, you really can't argue with the board of review thing, that's the thing.
Well, yeah, right, they're gonna do what they want, and they're not gonna take the property away, the property won't be usable, but why even put leaching field? Why not just pipe it straight out like they used to do in Howard Beach in Queens?
Well, this is still gonna be way better.
Bay houses.
Yeah.
It just slows it up because those leaching pools are all gonna be full of water. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, well, they're putting in a whole bunch of them. I don't know what's there now, probably just one,
There's two.
2 4-footers.
I don't know the depth of them, but they're replacing them, two.
Right. And they're gonna put,
cesspools.
they're gonna put 6 2-footers. So you still have some distance to the separation to the water underneath.
Just don't know. I mean, eventually we're gonna have to do something about that. I know, just not allow, well, that's what my other comments are. Let me go through them all first.
I would, or, whoever can speak to this best, I guess just a question I have is, on number 9, where they ask the question about does this property or what they're intending to do affect any species of plant or animal life that's threatened, the presumption is in asking that question that the state of New York is paying attention to that in some way or that matters, from an environmental point of view. But not only this application, but we've seen on others where there's something listed, like in this case, the northern long-eared bat.
Right.
So then what? So it's just sort of
You
like,
don't do the work at a certain time of the year that the DEC sets up.
Yeah, you can't take any trees down during that certain time. That's
so
really.
it's just, it's simply,
The DEC,
The time.
you can't work on that section of the site or something at that time.
because it might affect their, is it their habitat or it's nesting? It would be nesting and that, but short of that, the habitat part's not as important as the, I
Yeah,
mean, does it,
Yeah, well, they'll just,
You know what I mean?
they'll end up in whatever trees they decide.
they just go elsewhere?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably what would happen, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But you're just not supposed to take them down during that.
Okay, supposed to timeline it. Okay, thank you. I wondered because, yeah.
There's really no trees in this property. It's
Right.
just all grass.
Okay.
Nothing really in
Okay.
here to be affected. The neighbors have some trees and some up there, but not really anything.
Okay, I was asking just because, you know, as you look around the island and you see
Right.
so much of the habitat that does seem to be diminishing, I just, you know, feel as though that's something that we want to be paying attention to the extent possible. Okay, great. Thank you for the clarification.
I don't know where they are, they ordinarily, roost or whatever they do, but
I don't know.
I don't know what trees or whatever, what they like.
There are certain kind of trees, in other words, yeah.
Yeah, the bats are
Yeah.
there.
I know there's plenty of them flying around at night, no but a swampy areas.
Right.
I'm sure they don't just commit suicide if the tree goes away.
You're probably not.
Yeah, they just go somewhere else and figure it out, but.
Yeah.
Well, I've been noticing our waters have been really look dirty.
Oh, yeah, the salt water?
On my Montclair Colony and everything, I've never seen it so dirty. I don't know why.
Is it like an algae or?
No, it's just seaweed and
Oh.
gunk.
Yeah, there's a lot more of that.
Yeah, I don't like to go, well, you should know, you always swim in it, probably not lately,
Yeah,
but.
no, it's actually okay, I swim, you know. It's-
So you got a good flushing there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, flushing's good there.
There's gonna be very little flushing here in
Right.
this area.
Right.
Yeah, well, they dredge that every 2 or 3 years, that mouth of that Maples Creek.
Really?
Yeah, because that fills right in.
Well, they do that at Highbury too. They're
Right.
supposed to anyway, to let the creek and
Yeah.
it's been all over the place. I mean, you go down there one time it's here and then it's switches.
Yeah, and then they truck it out once it dries up, but yeah, it's like a 2 or 3 year, every 2 or 3 years. I think they did a new bulkhead, didn't they, a little while ago? A few years back,
Yes.
where the entrance was, yeah,
Oh, up at,
The mouth of the creek.
yeah.
yeah, because you can see the ferry from there, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Just the dredging.
Depends on, the town does a lot of it.
Does the town get reimbursed?
They don't want to put their new machine in the saltwater really, but they'll hire a guy to pile it up and
Yeah.
then they'll truck it away after it dries up.
So it's just part of what the town does. There's no
Yeah.
grant monies or anything for
Right,
that.
no.
Just so the properties remain usable to get your boat
I mean,
in.
they're never gonna get in too far into that creek. They just open up the mouth.
Mhm.
I see. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
You know. I was just thinking, remember when that guy had built the decking
Oh,
way
yeah.
out? Yeah, it's not there anymore. Yeah, I mean, I'm down there. It's,
No,
I
So they took it out?
just realized I haven't seen it.
I think I think the trees were already cut down and they're still gone, but
Yeah.
the decking, I believe,
I
has
don't
been
think there's
removed.
anything in the pond there that I've seen.
So that must have been,
You know,
by request of someone.
How is it this year? Is it all right or stagnant again?
Oh, yeah, there's some green patches sort of, which means there's, I guess, the growth in the bottom is coming up. So it's not totally clear, you
Right.
know, but I guess it's okay. I mean, it's a pond for the ducks and all that. It's not, we don't swim in there.
It seems like every single house on that road had work done this year.
It really has. You're absolutely right.
Every one of them.
There's trucks out there daily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Point Lane.
Amazing,
Yeah, it is.
The island, huh?
Especially down there on Point Lane. I think every house got rebuilt.
Yeah, I think so too. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yep, well,
Okay, so they want to put a pool in here, now,
right.
down to the water, I mean, and it's within the 100 foot and everything, and I just,
So isn't that something that's not permissible?
yes. that's-
Okay.
Well, that's why they're asking for a permit, you know?
Okay.
And I say, above ground pool is acceptable, I mean, put an above ground pool,
There we are.
you know, 4 foot pools.
Save a lot of money.
That's all I had in Queens, it was above ground pool, and it was a 50 by 100 lot, you know? And that- You know, everybody, I mean, certainly this, if you had the property for it, it would be beautiful. There's no property, the water line is like two and a half feet down.
Where the pool is?
Well, they never put the test hole where you want to do excavation, you know, they
Right.
as far away as they can.
Yeah.
But the elevation here is almost the same all over. You
Right,
know, the house is built up on fill, I guess, and then everything just drops down to it pretty smooth.
What
So
is the depth of the water? Oh,
the depth of water there is 3.5 feet.
3.5 feet, but I think that's down where, let's see, where did they do the test?
That's up on.
Oh, they did it over there.
road. You know,
You had 4.7.
and that's the 4.6 elevation, and you go down by the dock, it's only 5 foot, you know, so,
Where the pool's going, it's 8.5.
yeah. But still in all, you're gonna put in it. And there was no depth or information on the pool in its report, so I don't know, but they got steps going down and everything, but
If it's a shallow one or whatever.
yeah. I suggest they put a above-ground pool, because they're also within the 100-foot line, which is against the 133, the Indian Shore Overlay Peninsula, so
Correct. Yeah,
I just don't think it's a good place for it, and the way the tides are changing so recently, so,
Howard, do you have all those written up for Jessica?
of course.
Okay,
I might have to alter them a little if we have to, but
yeah,
that's what I have.
no, that's great, okay, thanks.
Okay, now on this, the entire site is under FEMA flood zones. So which means like 1% every so many years it could flood. So everything on this site is in the FEMA zones. And the FEMA zones, I don't think they've been done recently. I mean the last 5 or 10 years, so. It's only gonna get worse. So since it's in a flood zone, it's gonna flood sometime, and whether this property gets bad is one thing, but all of this stuff on here will go into the creek, which will then go into the channel by eventually. It's like in Florida, Naples flooded out. Go scuba diving down there now, and you see all the boards and everything. So you're destroying the whole, from a conservation standpoint. You know, it's a terrible thing to do, to build that close to the FEMA flood zones, because you know it's gonna happen. It's just when, 20 years from now, 15 years, it's gonna fill up the creek. So.
So what do you have on your paper that specifies that, just so we put these recommendations in?
Well, I have on here, entire site is in the FEMA flood zone.
Okay. Can we add just the explanation? Because, you know, sometimes people think, oh,
Site could be-
it's not a big deal. But I think Howard's point about what that means environmentally is an important point to include.
I can add to that.
Would you? Thank you.
Looks like the pool, they are gonna raise out of the ground a little bit, a couple feet,
Yeah,
2 foot above groundwater.
What's the depth of the pool?
6 feet,
6 feet deep
yeah, 3 to 6.
is 6, yeah.
So they're kind of thinking about it, but
Yeah.
foot 6 will be 2 foot above, so there's no dewatering.
Groundwater elevation is 1 point. I don't know about that. If anything, they should do a test hole there. Ask for a test hole. Yeah. And, I'll add something, Jessica, and bring it into you tomorrow. Right? Then on the site plan, if you look at the last 2 leaching pools, the expansion pool and the leaching pool, there's a concentric circles there. It doesn't say what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, yeah.
So,
EC, what is EC? Oh, that's that line, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's the fence.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
They're very close to this work, I mean, the EC line. In fact, the last,
Wasn't a flagpole or anything out there, right?
no, nothing out there. And the erosion control fence goes right next to the leaching pools.
Right.
This is gonna be such a hard thing to put in there, you know, keep the water from running. If it rains when you're digging there,
Yeah,
it's gonna go right into the creek.
well, it's one of those jobs just doing backfill, you know, covered up.
Right, as fast as you can.
Yeah,
So you get,
pick your days.
right,
It's all grass right out there, right? So,
yeah, it's just, I was just thinking maybe, I don't know the layout, but to bring all of these pools closer to the house.
I think what it is from the neighbor's well, trying to get.
Yeah, the 100 feet, right, yeah,
126,
yeah, just to that last one.
right?
And 108 to the center from their own well.
Their own well, yeah.
See,
They're probably gonna be,
the health department will let you pull it within 100 feet, you know?
yeah, they're like 108, pretty much right along the.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah,
It's a terrible sight, so, but that was the one thing I had again. And then, like I mentioned, the 3 site plans by Michael Hammer. Are all titled the same, proposed site plan. All with different dates and information. Now, I can see that because you're submitting one to the health department, one there, but I shouldn't say that on it, you're submitting it to it, some way. Change
I
that.
don't know really what you can do with this, because it's, everything's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, I just think we should differentiate the plans a little bit,
Right,
so you can follow, I mean, you got another set also. Again, there's 3 C1 drawings titled proposed site. So a whole bunch of plans that we got for review, and I don't know. I mean, they're a little different, slightly different, and all with the same title. Very hard to follow. So I was making a recommendation that they should resubmit clarification on those plans and then title. Because somebody goes through and says C1, proposed site plan, turns the page and says
because the health department,
C1, proposed site plan.
health department stuff was approved a year ago,
Yeah.
a little over a year ago.
Yeah. And the DEC is modification drawing.
As far as you haven't seen it before now.
Well, it was yeah, I don't know, that doesn't matter. And let's see what I had. Oh, naturally, we need a vegetation plan because they're going to be doing a lot of excavation and, you know, it should show it.
Existing vegetation to remain, no new buffer plantings proposed.
Right, but they're going to destroy all the existing, so at least what are they going to put in?
Right,
And then they have a sand pile well, over the elevation of the so one of these C1s or something calls for sand.
yeah, I saw that sand area
Yeah,
outside the.
yeah, it's on, that's a problem. It's
Like a
like
beach or?
it's proposed site plan. I don't know what that's for. Sand,
Does that exist already?
no. There was sand further up, I thought, not there.
Or maybe just ask more questions,
Yeah.
have Matt come on next.
Oh, yeah, there was sand there, I'm sorry, that's right, over there, yep. I don't remember that elevation being 6'5". Could be. Okay. And those are all the items I had. If anybody else sees anything else on that, I just think it's a submission that has to be resubmitted with notes or filed for people. I don't know. What do you think? I can't see having, I've never had 3 drawings all by proposed site plan, unless you were submitting to other people. That's fine, but to put on it, submitted for health department review or something like that.
Right. They're all basically the same thing though anyway, right?
Basically, with slightly different changes, very slight. It's crazy. All right, so anyway, my suggestion, it's up to everybody else, but I would deny the submission and have a new wetland submission that clarifies the C1 drawings, the site plan drawings, the double circles. It's a site, you know, I hate to say it, but should be condemned for people living there, but you can't do that because, you know, it's Suffolk County.
Right. Like I said, I don't know what you could really change though.
No, then I looked, you know, where can you change the septic? You can't.
You can't, yeah, everything's where it is.
You can make some slight variations, but
No, not really. So it's already too close to
Yeah.
the water.
you do have it too close to the water. You can't put it that way. They're gonna be underwater anyway,
Right.
you know, most of the time. And at least the pool will be full of water and the septic will just drain out to the creek.
Well, no, it's 2 feet above highest groundwater, right?
It's,
And we'll find out when we dig. Maybe it
right,
has to be raised, you know what I mean? Because it has to end up being 2 foot above groundwater.
yeah, I know, that's what it says on the plan.
Right.
And then it says on that other plan, area to be regrade, and it shows a grading on it.
You probably have to fill over, because you have to have a foot of cover over the pool.
Yeah,
So it'll change, the grade will change down there when you're all done. I mean, whatever the health department wants done, that's what we gotta do,
oh, yeah,
as far as the grades and all go.
yeah, and,
I mean, if it's 5 now, it's gonna end up being 7 maybe,
right,
you know?
it brings it up to, just 7 feet. From 5 something.
Yeah.
So it's still there, I mean, you're right about the health department, but we have a code that, you know, we could be more restrictive than that.
Because then you'd have to do your own health department. You don't want to get into that.
No.
They tried that years ago.
No, you won't.
So, you know, I mean, they're kind of like the last, they're the guys that really call the shots at this point.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
they're the people,
Because the town, I think the town didn't have the health department here for like 5 years or something after they took over the rest of Suffolk County. Because we were a little more restrictive with well separations or something. And then finally the county just said, no, you can't do this anymore.
yeah,
I took over.
You know, but the responsibility of the people, I mean, anyway.
Do you think that there's any change of philosophy on that these days?
No, I think a lot of those people that buy waterfront don't care.
Right.
They really don't.
Oh, yeah.
They brag about how much they spent on, you know, bathroom tile and could care less about the septic system.
Right.
So, I mean, unless,
And the health department, if you have a piece of property and they have their standards of 150 feet, let's say, and no septic system within 100 feet from the wetland,
right,
they'll go, okay, you can have 110 feet.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
but then I don't know.
see, here's the thing, if it's a new lot, if it's, you know, this is
No.
built on, it's a whole different ballgame when it's a lot that
Right.
hasn't been built on. So this
Yeah.
is, you know, this is just, you have to make accommodations for the fact that it's
Right.
there. So,
I think over.
grandfathered in, you know.
But you're going to destroy, I'm wondering when the Peconic Estuary Program comes up with their new wetlands code, what they'll say about something like this. It's,
I don't know, but I mean, in Japan, these Fujis, they basically go through the, you know, the 3-inch chlorine tablet on the exit thing like I showed you on yours, and it goes right on the street.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's at that level
yeah,
of nitrate, right?
well, they don't, you know, it's not even a, you know, I mean, and that's not a third world country. I mean, it just, they work really well, and, you know, the leaching is just a place for the water to go, really. So, I mean, we don't have the chlorine tablets here, but, because they won't let you do that, but that's how it works over there.
That's like New York City. I mean, they have combined sewage. They dump something like 25 billion gallons of water.
When it rains.
sewage When it rains, right into the East River.
Right.
You know, and then they wonder why
Well,
they can't swim in.
But that's still different than this, because the water that's coming out of there, going into the ground isn't, you know, isn't really bad. I mean, I would be happy if they did the chlorine tablets, left them in, you know what I mean? I don't know why they don't, but they don't. So, you know,
That might
but
have.
that's what they do, I'm just telling you, that's what they do in Japan and a lot of the countries. So, there is no leaching, it just goes down into stormwater, you know.
I guess in a way think we're more sophisticated, but are we, you know?
Well, I think it's kind of a shock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody's like, nah, we can't do that.
It's like, you know, drinking water in the city, it's chlorinated, you know, it's
Right.
chlorine, you know, that's what it is. Okay, so I'll get something to Jessica, but I just want to take a vote here. I wanted to put in that, see what I wrote here. That recommend denial, submission, and have a resubmission for this, for the items that I mentioned, the 8 items.
Just have some more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do it next time.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll just take a vote on that?
yes.
Those items.
All in favor of accepting, yes.
Yeah.
Next
time, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
All right. Maybe Matt will come on and explain things.
Yeah.
and also I think I would just, you know, the importance of that too is if there are things that are not clarified, I think it's important that we have the submission be clear. And if we take time on it, you know, all those kind of questions shouldn't pop up. So, you know, it's important to say no until it is clear, and then you can actually react. to it.
Sure. Matt was explaining the same. thing.
Really not much mitigation they can really do here or anything, you know?
If you're gonna let them, I mean, live there,
Yeah.
be like a houseboat, you know?
I mean, that's actually one of the bigger lots down there compared to the rest of them.
Right,
So,
The only thing that really, they want to put a proposed second floor balcony on, and it's extending past the foundation, so that shouldn't be allowed by code 129.
Mhm.
It's less than 100 square feet, but the 100 square feet is supposedly for land surface
Right.
structures for the 129, so. So I wouldn't allow that to come in. But again, I don't know, maybe be nice to have a above ground pool, I guess, you know. Because what they're doing is they actually, at one time, they probably could swim out there pretty safe. And they're just making it less likely to swim. You know, like I said, Howard Beach, we used to.
yeah, I don't know, I've never been out in that creek.
And, you know, Idlewild, before it became Kennedy,
yeah, yeah.
when they came in landing, they used to drop the sanitary right into the swamp there.
Really?
That's why they used to bring ships into Jamaica Bay to kill the barnacles off the bottom.
Right.
Dead water.
Oh, that would kill them all, yeah.
Do it right.
That's it. Same way, the things go back and they come up, you know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's that. Solution on that one.
Oh, Pam, yeah, Pam's hand is up.
Any questions? Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand, Pam. Sorry, thank you. Hi, Pam.
Yeah, hi, everybody. My thing on Tesoro, the difficulty I'm having is that the DEC modified permit that was issued doesn't mention anything about the swimming pool. The plans that they stamped has the swimming pool on the plans, but the actual wording of the permit mentions nothing about the swimming pool at all, this in-ground pool. And the engineer's report from the planning department said that they would be okay, that they would say that they would raise the grade as required for the pool,
I don't
so
know.
that that would be sufficient. They thought that that would be sufficient if they just raised the grade. And again, that brings in more fill, which is not really permitted by the DEC. So I'm not really sure I understand the validity of the DEC permit at this point for this project. And we know that there's no dewatering. So Howard, I'm really all for, I'm with you. Put it in an above ground pool because this is looking very bad. And if in fact the project is in the FEMA flood zone, then according to town code, it's a type 1 action on SECR, and they have to do a full environmental assessment form in order to be doing all of this stuff. And
Yeah,
that's in chapter 60.
yeah, you just did a short form.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, you know, the building department and the Suffolk County Department of Health are fine with the IA system, and I guess, yes, I think maybe you have to accept that. You accepted it on the Peter Reich.
Yeah, well, that one,
Project.
but if you remember that one, we actually, the leaching field was pushed further away from the wetland
Right,
at that one.
Right.
They had that space. But again, that's another property that I would say in 15 years that'd be flooded, you know, the way the tides are changing, but yeah, what are you gonna do?
yeah, and the planning board also was looking for a landscaping plan. That wasn't submitted. Because there were two engineer reports from the planning board on this project, so I looked at them. Yeah, and I'm just concerned that the DEC has nothing to say about the swimming pool. I mean, I don't know when that got tacked on top of the plan, what's going on with the confusion with these plans. I agree. It's another one of those Matt Sherman, let me send in confusing plans and hope that people can figure them out. And I'm kind of getting tired of that behavior, and I hope that that certainly stops when this goes back to the town board for wetlands permits, because enough
Yeah.
of that.
But
I just can't.
I can see his reasoning, you know, because the different, he actually on his scale drawings on the cover of it, he says survey not stamp, DEC approved site plan, Suffolk County Department of Health approved site plan, but then put that on the C1 plan so you know what it is. I mean, you don't have to go back and forth.
The pool's on all the plans though, right?
Yeah,
Right.
but it's not, it doesn't even in the report give a depth of pool.
Right.
Pam, but Pam, I think, what you're saying sounds different from what Pam is saying. Didn't Pam say the DEC approval on those paperwork, there was no swimming pool? Because if that's the case.
Yeah.
The wording of the permit, the wording of the actual modified permit does not include the swimming pool. The plan shows the swimming pool that they stamped,
Right.
but the wording of the permit does not.
That's a very important
Yeah, yeah.
oversight and a great catch of Pam, so I think we should note that.
I mean, it just should be validated that in fact the DEC knows that there's a swimming pool going in here in a FEMA flood zone. I think they'd like to know
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
And it's only 2 feet above groundwater. It looks like you're gonna have a dewatering problem to get this thing installed too. And we
Yeah,
know
the
that there's no
bottom of
dewatering
the-
for swimming pools.
Yeah, the bottom of the pool is 2 feet above groundwater, so that's why they're gonna raise it out of the ground. That was, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, with the elevations that you see on the plan, it's not clear.
Well, it's up in the 8.5-foot section.
Yeah,
You know, it's on the septic plan, I think.
Can we incorporate?
But, you know, just have, these questions should be asked when Matt comes on, you know.
Yeah, well, let's put it in our, our concerns that are going to Jessica. And then, yes, Matt obviously can reply to it.
Right,
DEC.
yeah.
If there's clarification needed, he can provide it.
And I also didn't notice on the plans where the propane tank is going.
Yeah,
Anyone
right, I
see-
didn't see that neither. I saw the cistern. but
Right,
I didn't
not-
see the
And I
propane
saw a
tank.
tank for filling the pool, the 1,000-gallon tank for filling the pool.
Right.
That's up by the river, but
That's the
I didn't see
cistern.
where that propane tank is going.
Oh,
So Howard, since you didn't either, let's ask about that as well.
yeah,
Okay,
I didn't see it. I said, if it's not there, it's not there.
but it should
It's
be,
mentioned.
yeah,
Right.
but it needs to be.
Yeah, you're right, that isn't there.
All
Oh,
right,
no, LPG down by the test hole.
you see it?
By the LPG there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, up
Down
in the
there.
corner there, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, low pressure gas. Yeah,
That's only in 3.5 foot elevation. How's that gonna work?
and it doesn't say if it's new or not. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So, how about we put-
Another question, yeah,
yeah, okay, that's another question then.
right,
So it is there, Pam, but there are questions about it that are very important.
right.
Howard is capturing them now.
Thank you.
Damn, she's like a detective.
Pam's great, Pam's great, yep.
We need, man, once
We
you
need
join
Pam.
our committee.
Never, yes, never miss a meeting or join the committee, that's right, we would love that.
Okay, yeah, that's all I see right now until the revised plans come through. That's all that came to light for me tonight.
Right.
But thanks for the opportunity to speak about that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for bringing those points up. We try to be as thorough as we can, but
Right. It's a lot to look
all
at.
right, so we're only 4 of 6 people here now. We should have 7.
Right, exactly.
So, okay, so we're done with this. We
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
get a
Finish with that.
resubmission.
right.
Okay. Now,
You don't want to tackle the Perlman thing tonight, do you?
no, we're not gonna tackle it.
That's a-
I want to go over what we're going to do there.
Right, okay.
That's all we, Jessica printed out the section of the code where we have to.
Right,
So we have that.
Okay.
Well, let me just,
Yeah, go through it in order.
yeah.
And
go back to what Albert is, yes, so,
Albert.
and my question was, Albert, we submitted the nature preserve report.
Yeah, I did distribute it to the board, but, I didn't hear anything. I just need to follow
Okay, that's a,
up. With him.
I guess probably with Ken Lewis will take care of that, but they usually do. You know, he
First, I
follows.
wanted to ask you about that, Wade's Beach, the dune.
Yeah.
Fence there, did they put up snow fence?
Not between the parking lot and the beach, you know, that sand dune that's right there, there's openings there that everybody runs from the parking lot into the beach. I haven't seen this,
Down where the boats are stored, the boat storage? They always put up a snow fence.
Yeah, for the kayak, for like the,
Just to keep people off the.
Hobie cats and stuff?
Far to the private property that way, I mean.
Right.
no, in other words, where the top of the dune is, where there's some planting. And then the guys put like the Hobie cats and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that area,
In that area, they usually put up a snow fence just to keep people away from it.
Right. I don't know if, I haven't been to the beach this summer, so I don't know.
I haven't been down there, so I need.
Yeah, I don't
When
know.
I was down there in February, it wasn't up. That should be it. All year, I don't think they would take it down, put it up.
Right, yeah.
It should be there all year. That's the other portion, but that has some grass that should be replanted there also.
Yeah.
Blockage, but the thing is that the one in front of the parking lot, I think people park their car, just walk through that grass that's there. So they should put up a snow fence there just to keep people.
In between the bathhouse and that.
Yeah,
little spot.
and the other end of the property.
Right,
Just a little thing there. And the other items would be with Ken Lewis, like Satcham's Woods, the things that brought up, you know, the drain pipe from
Yes.
stuff like that. So I just want to know what the status
So I'll follow
is.
up with that.
Thank you.
I think the idea of leaving that open between the bathhouse and the woods is, so people that have kayaks and stuff aren't walking down through the sidewalk and across by the bathhouse and all that stuff, in the little,
Mm.
I think it's to keep them, go around all that with that stuff rather than dragging across,
Right.
where the wheelchair spot is and everything else.
Mhm.
That's probably what it is.
I was more concerned about the grasses blocking the beach, but that's, because if we get a storm, they'll just go right into the parking lot and everything.
Right.
You talk to people and they say, well, that's one of the places we got for emergency services, bring a helicopter
Right,
in, so.
yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now, old business. The wetlands, the committee that I'm part of and the town is working on that. We're getting close to the end line, right, Albert? Close to it?
Yeah, we actually, were discussing it today, the work session.
I guess we'll have one more go around when they incorporate what we mentioned at the last meeting.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. But we're getting closer. It's not a simple thing. Basically, we want to, I know some people are complaining about the causeway being taken out. Causeway has some good items in it, but it might not be right for that wetlands. It should be for almost any place because it talks about the RO systems, gathering the brine from that and not dumping it into it. So there are other items in there that we should, but they shouldn't be in the wetlands. It should be just
There's only one house there, right? That's it?
the
It's
causeway.
actually two properties here, one house and there's another property.
Oh, there's another property?
But I think the way we're changing the code, basically, I think it's almost set that we're working to try to get 100 feet instead of 75, 25. And you do that, there's not much left down there.
Right.
So I don't think anybody would build there anymore, but you never know. You never know what people
I
do.
think it could remain in the wetlands code myself. I don't think it hurts anything.
Yeah.
But,
Right, and it doesn't-
the issue is that there's only two lots.
Two lots
right
there.
now.
Right.
How big is
I
this?
don't think it hurts.
How big is the other lot?
I don't know specifically.
I mean, we're gonna have to do something about the causeway anyway, it floods. Something's gonna have to happen at some
Well,
time.
the reason they built the other house, because that one burned down and they were allowed to, But that wasn't really.
There was a
I
house
just-
there before. I didn't-
Yeah, there was a house there.
I
yeah.
went
They had a fire and then they redid it. But I don't think they would, I can't imagine getting a permit to build at any level from anybody. I mean, unless you lived a long time, I mean, I don't know.
gotta think about the town's got a lot of responsibility. What are we gonna do about Bridge Street? I mean, that floods all the time, and we're trying to protect the waterways, and it just goes right into the
Where
water.
the businesses aren't where they should be. That's the problem.
Well, what do you do? It's a state road.
No, I know, I just,
We went through that with Mike Anglin, when we went to put,
yeah,
opening up the thing, because he has a bathroom there.
Right.
We said the footprints were still in the bottom, right?
yeah.
It was not, but that's just gonna flow right, if the septic is just gonna go right into the back. I don't know, and then we have the.
Well, it's one thing to have a bathroom, it's another thing to have a restaurant. It's all.
Yeah, well, that's another, I mean, and then we go ahead and we build that nice toilet there and we have to pump it, so
Right.
that should be the requirement for everybody there, I guess,
Took
eventually.
years to be able to put there.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was
Years.
fiasco, yeah.
Yeah, I know that one, with that bathroom, yeah.
County did not want to do that.
No. It's a lot of difficulties going on. We can't all solve them here. I don't think the town board can solve them either. I think they're gonna need the county and the state to really get behind things. The Peconic Estuary Program. These people, they're working through the whole island. It's not just us. Everybody. Difficult things. Okay, the North Shore and Peninsula Overlay.
For sure, yeah.
Yes, sure, I'm sorry, North Shore. But we still have that in there. We might be altering that a little bit, but it's still a requirement by the zoning, and the zoning doesn't take care of it. Then the last one was, not the last one, chapter 83, the lighting. As we know, there's an awful lot of lighting around the municipal buildings when you walk out there. It's not dark sky.
Yeah, right.
The town doesn't correct it.
Yeah,
How
well,
can you expect of it?
several years ago, my husband and I were very involved in that,
Right, mentioned that,
and I don't know how good the enforcement is, but we certainly
yeah.
had, something in the code about it.
If the light goes out at 11 o'clock or something, that's one thing. But if it stays on all
I must say that just in general, to me, it seems some of that lighting with things along the driveway that would go on automatically,
night.
you don't see a whole lot of that anymore.
No.
And that was offensive.
And a lot of the lights that come on are the ones with the deer
A motion.
Motion,
Yeah.
yeah, don't be coming on all night long, you know?
They're on and off, on and
Yeah,
off.
the deer come out of the woods and, you know, they attack my bird feeder at like 3 o'clock in the morning and then the big light comes on and they're like, thank you, now I can see what I'm eating, you know?
Okay, now the next chapter is new to, at least to me, with this committee, as long as I've been here, is the site plan review. So what we should do is, it's for the Perlman Center now, and I think there's gonna be another one coming, something else, but look at the plans, see if you see it, and mainly it's to avoid noise and block some view of storage area and stuff like that. But the worst thing, I don't want us to put hedges across, 8-foot hedges. I mean, the code has like 4-foot fences allowed around your property in the residential, and everyone puts up an 8-foot hedge. I mean, what's worse, you know?
Yeah,
So, you walk around, I feel like I'm in Belfast, Ireland, you know, the green wall over there, you know. It's crazy now, but that's another thing, but that's years
I
down.
don't think they're doing that down there, are they?
No,
They don't wanna block the
no,
water.
they don't want to do that. We just want to, what we,
One thing I was curious about on that plan, was, I know they were trying to keep all those little cottages that were, you know, inside of the setbacks, you know, or outside, you know, to keep them legal, but it seemed to me like they would be better off to build a few nice dormitories
they have that on the one,
and not have these little cottages everywhere.
the other side is that they're going to expand on the other side of.
Yeah, they're gonna do that too, but I mean, instead of having these little cottages, you know,
All over.
30 feet away from each other, just, you know, build a decent dormitory and put everything in one, you know.
I sort of like that layout because.
I do too. I love it.
When you go by on Sternport's Road, you can actually see down there, and especially in the winter, you can see the water and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, up on the top there, you know,
Yeah.
where you make the turn and they have all those little, everything's on
Right.
the edge there, yeah. Because they're gonna take down I think they were gonna take down the existing kitchen and all that area and then move that back and make it, you know, make it bigger and have more yard space in front of it and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I mean, it was a nice plan, but I'm just curious that, because it costs a lot more money to build individual cottages with all the stuff you have to do for that only have 2 beds in them.
And it might be the way they originally wanted it, you know?
I guess, I don't know.
Or
Well, it has-
start out that way, but.
Yeah, well, it has a more old world feel and it really goes with everything on that waterfront. So I think it's nice. And I also do, how frequently do they actually, that's pretty much a summer program, is it
Yeah.
not?
Yes.
So it's closed down
But I
the
think they're
rest of the
gonna,
year?
I think they're gonna winterize most of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they will be able to do more in
Yeah,
there. That,
yeah.
that would be wonderful.
Maybe. They didn't mention that when they.
No, but I mean, I would think they'd be spending all this money.
Yeah,
They
right.
must have some plans along those lines, and that's great, because it is, you know, the facility's amazing, so you hate to
Yeah.
think of it, yeah.
That's a
Right.
big asset to the
I mean, they don't have that many people go through it, it's like 40,
Right,
that's it. So I mean, I don't know if they want to make it bigger or make it more.
no, but maybe they just want to keep their program in the summer, but there could be other musical things that happen during the year that
They
were,
do have alumni come back.
Right.
Right, and, yeah,
Intermittently.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
right,
Yeah,
and
The
what do they,
predominance is from like June through August,
right.
Yeah.
middle of August, but they
Yeah.
do use it periodically.
do you know what they do when the alumni come?
Music, alumni.
So it's just, do they do little concerts, or they play, or they collaborate,
I
or,
don't
yeah,
know. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's a great venue for all those kind of things, certainly. so.
And they're very accommodating. We used to use that Sylvester Manor in the winter because the manor's closed and they would.
no, that was Camp Quinnipiac,
When
that's where they go, yeah. Sylvester Manor does, yeah.
And they still can use Quinnipiac for
Yeah.
those things, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the one time we had the meeting in.
Right. Have they done anything with Sylvester Manor with that? They started any of the renovations, you know?
Not yet in the manor.
Nothing yet?
I was terrible about the destruction of the sculpture. I mean, who would do that with that?
What did you say?
They had a sculpture path, you know, and
Oh.
some vandals took one sculpture with sledgehammers. you know.
Really?
Yeah. And
Oh.
water and stuff. It's
When
terrible.
when would that have happened, do you know?
I guess within the last month or so, because the sculpture trail hasn't been.
Really?
long.
Huh.
Not today, you know.
I wonder if any of that has to do with the history of it being a plantation. I mean, I don't know, but there's, yeah, you hear negative things about, yeah, the history associated with it. I don't know, not so much Sylvester Manor, but other plantations.
Yeah, because
Hope not.
I guess, Patty, you're the last one to milk cows there, you know?
Yeah,
Your cows up there with
Yeah, yeah.
Serge, right?
Yeah.
In the miniature barn and everything, we had the cows with it. They don't have,
Yeah.
they never,
No, nobody messed with the place down there. I don't know. I never remember anybody doing anything.
no, nobody ever did things years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, look at what happened in Silver Beach, $600,000 worth of damage, you know?
Right.
Kids in there, the world.
I don't know how you could get half the kids and they didn't rat out the other three.
And that's,
Kids must be pretty tough today.
yeah, wow.
I don't let the cops use a billy club anymore.
Whatever,
I
yeah.
used to do it a couple of
Usually,
times.
that was about a 5-minute operation and everybody knew who everybody was.
Exactly.
But, all right, so, that's the site plan review. Everybody should look at it
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they kind of, they're anxious to get going and starting because especially now in the winter, maybe they could start and see all the
Did
septic.
they get all their health department? Sure. I don't think so.
I don't think so. They have it all laid out there and you can see they're gonna be digging up that whole property.
Yeah.
To get all.
Well, everything's gonna get demoed too. Or not everything, but a lot of it.
Yeah,
So it's an ambitious project. I
right.
mean,
Well,
And they want us to look, get an okay on the site plan because then they could start getting donations to do this for
Right.
things that. So
I'm sure they
everybody should-
already do have, but when you
Oh,
consider the fundraisers that they have and the, amount of money that they generate both here and in Palm Beach and the city, yeah, I think that they
but
probably have a lot of it already.
still, you can always use more.
Oh, I'm sure, and they will get it too,
But
yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
It's great, I do
I
too.
think we should take a look at it. I don't know when our next meeting will be on the site plan review.
Right.
Talk to the town, see.
Yes.
I don't know. Albert, we can walk through that property, right? I mean, most of the properties we take a look at, we ask for permission, but I
Oh, it's
didn't
open.
ask Toby
You know,
what she was.
Howard, you bring that up, it's funny, I remember the, 2 years ago when I was on the board, some guy was walking around somebody's house and called the cops. I don't know what the hell, whatever happened with that.
Well, he had a little problem. Those ring doorbells, you gotta watch out for them.
Right.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I know there was talk about trying to arrange a walkthrough and let the applicant know that people would be walking around. the
yeah.
property.
Mhm.
So I honestly, I don't.
I don't know that, I missed the last presentation at the last meeting, but I forgot to ask, do we need that? I mean, I think we should say, we can wear our badge walking through and to tell the people we'd like to come. It is a phone call, doesn't hurt to the,
Yeah.
Just
it's
notify,
nice.
usually typically they're not there.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Notify somebody. They must have somebody, a groundskeeper or something that's there all the time because.
I think it's the plumber, isn't it? It's East Point's Plumbing or something?
Maybe.
I think he's the guy that's.
Howard, I was just wondering, because I know we've done that somewhat inconsistently. Sometimes people get notified and other times they don't. But rather than it becoming our responsibility to figure out how to notify these people, would it not be reasonable when they make a submission, have something get kicked out to them saying that we will be coming and there'll be people with badges and perhaps, in other words, from the time that they submit to when we're going to be talking about it, there will likely be someone coming by. And if they have a concern about when, they could notify otherwise, because as you say, a lot of times people aren't there anyway.
Most of the plans are by Matt, are the ones that I
Right.
call Matt, and he gets in touch with the owner, and he said, okay, go walk.
Right.
And
It's just extra work for you.
that guy got caught walking around with a ring phone, they make us wear the badge. So that.
Howard's too cute for prison.
So anyway, that's that. And we also have these nice plans showing them.
Right.
So they can look at those. And with the next meeting, maybe we'll bring it up again, see how,
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
yeah, it's great.
Now, new business. What about participation in the green options, August 24th? I think we have to keep a presence, but boy, I tell you, sit there, not that many people come around.
No, they don't.
I know. Where is it being held this year?
In the front portion again.
In the school?
Yeah, I'd say it's
We were
temporary.
back.
It is out in the front?
Behind there, the last, but that's.
It was,
Yeah.
and that was really terrible.
I think they're gonna put it down.
Yeah, because, right, okay. In
It'll be
fact,
back where it was the year before.
Center here.
okay, won't be by the Legion?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's where we were, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. 2 years ago,
It's
yeah.
from the crafts fair.
Right.
I think that's where they're gonna put it again.
Okay,
Well,
yeah,
that's better.
yeah.
Yeah, you get more people there.
Do you know what the time for that is? Is it what, like 10 to 2 or?
It's longer than that.
It is longer than
Yeah,
that.
10 to maybe 3.
It's a long time because
Yeah,
they sit there and you're wondering. But I think I'll talk to Tim about it and I'll bring it up at the next meeting. But we are interested in having a table there, I guess, right?
well, I think you're right. We probably should if it's in fact happening. But can we talk to Tim about like what's going to attract people? In other words, because not a lot has been, quite honestly. I think if people thought that they could come and speak to somebody about maybe solar panels on their houses or something, because it's such a busy time in August, people have guests, it's, prime season.
Yeah.
They just don't come by. So it kind of wastes time, but I agree, it's important. Could we,
The water
Right.
advisory committee usually has a little display and pamphlets there.
Right.
They're always good. And septics used to be, I don't know
Yeah, we don't really put anything out there.
anymore. I mean, that's sort of,
but it's good to put it out, isn't it? I mean,
Well, it
here's
was
what
a-
these systems are.
It was a big ordeal that, when we did it.
Stuff
Yeah,
there.
we had like a whole thing set up and everything. A lot of the other vendors did too, but, we just have the paperwork, that kind of thing out.
Okay.
The trouble is, I'm kind of disappointed in the county because they're not pushing these systems. I mean, what do we have, 125?
No, there's like 200 and something now.
100 and something,
Over
over
200.
2,000 that are required?
Well, that's 10% of the island almost, so that's not too bad.
Right.
But the thing is, like I say, it's not like people would rather get around it. To me, if you have a, $3 or $4 million waterfront place, you would think that would be a priority. And it's not,
It's not.
so,
That, I understand now they're just
that's the way it is.
on ones that collapse or something, their priority.
Well, that's what they're doing because of the funding thing. See, hopefully if the 8% sales tax thing goes through in the fall vote,
They'll have more
there's an
money.
they want to raise the sales tax at 8%.
Right.
Okay.
And that would fund all this water quality stuff for, forever then. It would be a constant source of money instead of having to beg for it every year.
Like,
And that would
Then
be,
as the economy drops and all that nonsense, you have it, you don't have it.
is that a Suffolk County?
It would be Suffolk County. I think it's the whole state, isn't it?
Would it be the whole
Suffolk
state?
County.
Or just Suffolk County?
Suffolk. Okay, I wondered. I think
Usually the
Nassau
East
would-
End supports those.
Yeah, well,
Suffolk County
Yeah.
supports those environmental
well,
initiatives.
you gotta imagine how many of these are Suffolk County are required. I mean, we do have different septic plans like Bergen Point and stuff like that, but
yeah.
we're not gonna, I don't think we'd ever have sewer plant here. I think.
No, you won't, but it's not a priority. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if people buy places for an investment or they actually care about it. I can't figure that out anymore. So, it used to be shelter around, someone would go and buy a place on the water and it was for the family
Right.
for the next 3 or 4 generations or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it seems like it's just an investment. That's it.
Yeah,
And then they're out of here, or whatever they have to do, let's minimum this, that, and the other, and
So.
make it look great and blah, 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 and,
It all-
and they have so many other houses in many ways that,
Yeah, I mean,
intuitive.
you would think that would be a priority if you're gonna, I think it should be more, you should be considering it a privilege to be on the water.
Right,
That you're lucky enough to be able to do that you should care. But
great.
Yeah,
Didn't happen. Rather spend money on tile.
and climate change and
Well, it's
asset has become a liability.
I'm just saying, that's the mentality you got.
Let's go down in Montclair Colony, and it floods over, and we have down at the west end there, they're underwater during the high tides, and
Right.
septic just leaches out into the bay.
Yeah.
What can you do? Those properties do have some more land that they can get out of the 100-foot.
But they need to come up.
They have to
They
raise
need
it,
to raise it, you know, you're,
have to raise it, but if you're out of the 100-foot, you get more chance of doing things and
Yeah.
raising, and pressurized systems.
yeah.
There's some opportunity, but it's getting tough. So I'll tell Tim that we're interested and we'll see exactly what it is. And our next meeting is unfortunately September 17th, so we won't be able to, I can call everybody and see and get some people down there, you know.
Right.
It's a long day sitting there.
Yeah, you know, I'll take the last shift, you know.
Well, you were working, like you and Dan, you guys, I'm retired, I'll sit there for 4 hours or so.
Yeah. It's not so bad when you have the rest of the group, like over by the Legion, because you can
Right.
talk to people, you know?
Right.
We
Yeah,
were kind of
that
like
was better.
stuck there in the,
Yeah, the
At
back
end
is
of
bad.
it was,
You gotta have a canopy.
yeah, you gotta have a little canopy.
That's true.
oh, yeah, gotta have that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it could be really hot.
yeah. This summer went fast, didn't it?
It really did. I know. It's crazy.
Wow.
Will you ask, I mean, if you're going to ask
Yeah.
Tim something, will you ask him if he can get himself interviewed in the Reporter before this Saturday? So I could say what Green Options is and why people ought to come? Because I think
I think he does that all the time, so I think he's going,
Yeah,
I
just-
can
even
talk
just-
to him, so.
But I think if people look at the Reporter and saw, oh, these people are going to be there about this stuff, they might
stuff.
at least take 5 minutes to swing by. But I think if not, if you just go, oh, it's Green Options, you don't know what it is, and it's a busy time, nobody shows up.
Depends on the
So-
weather.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. But I mean, if Tim and others who care take the time to put this together, it's tragic not to get folks to show up.
Heisman for-
Yeah.
I'll talk to Tim, and I'm sure he's gonna put something in the paper, so, but, we'll talk to him about listing who's gonna be there. I don't,
Who's going to be there and why you should come. I mean, he's not a salesman, but on this one, I think you need to sell, why should I take my time? Yeah, no, I know he's deeply brilliant and devoted. I just mean a sales angle for why should I, who don't care that much, why should I go? Well, I'm going to learn about this, maybe I'll,
yeah, well,
whatever, diminish your electric
talk to him
bills.
tomorrow, but whatever we do, I mean, I still have some of this special place folders left. We can-
Those are great, yeah.
There's a lot of things you gotta be concerned with
Yeah.
on the island. Main thing is water.
Water, yeah, pretty,
I mean, you consider your body is 60% water.
Right.
Yeah.
Why pollute what you're gonna put in there?
right.
It's a big change, so.
Yeah, and, yeah, and I know I say this often, Paulette feels the same way, but habitat too. I mean, even if there were, obviously I like to see something changed about how many trees you can take out of your property, but, and I understood, so, in fact, isn't Tim working on that? Isn't there some kind of potential change in ordinance as it relates to trees? I know I talked with him once.
Friends of the trees?
Well, Friends of Trees and Paulette's on that.
Friends of Tree, yeah.
But Tim was heading up an effort on that. But I also think, if you live on the island, you might want to know if there is something afoot that might restrict that or, diminish the, yeah. And people, and if you talk about property values, if we make it all look like Queens, because everybody takes out all the trees, you're gonna have more problems environmentally. And, and it's not the place that it once was, so.
Well, nothing's gonna bring that back. That's part of the comprehensive plan. It's up for review now. You read those chapters and you say, gee, what happened here?
Well,
We
even-
increase our population full-time, stuff like that.
Right.
And you walk around the streets. I used to walk around Montclair County 25 years ago, and I see water all around. Now I see houses that go to the limits of the zoning.
Right.
So you see a house, and if you don't have a house, then, oh, I'll put up an 8-foot hedge.
Edge, right,
When everybody goes to see me,
right, right. Yeah, it's just,
That's nothing we can change about that. It's just.
we can't change what's already happened, but we certainly have the ability to change what's going to happen if we use that. You know, if we could get together and do something that mattered.
You have all kinds of people on the island, which is great. I mean, we have property rights people, it's my property, I do what I want, like this.
But yeah, but there are communities, I know I've been interviewing people, forestry folks, and there are communities that say if you have to seek approval to take out a certain amount of trees if you're going to do it, and if you do, you have to also have approval, you have to put in the same amount, like you have to keep the proportions, and they're on Long Island. So we don't have that, but we ought to have that, and there's model codes. So,
You're right.
yeah, I mean, there are some,
Because there's some lots, it's just nothing but bramble, and then you can see how, that's not worth, there's nothing really worth saving, but if you had some sort of a, you can do this, but then you have to come back and do that,
absolutely,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, trade,
absolutely.
Yeah.
do certain things.
And I
And I think, we're acknowledging the propensity of some homeowners, sadly, to try to do as little as possible. But if you have a code, I mean, it's just so much easier to just, rather than getting into how people feel about this, when you choose to buy on this island, this is what we believe in, we're preserving the island, and here's what you need to do. And if you don't want to do that, there's all kinds of other places to purchase land.
It depends on if you're doing this as an investment or if you're doing it as your home.
So that's like,
Right.
That's how they look at it.
But the investment is actually better if it's protected and, there are trees. I mean, it really is.
Well, yeah,
So it really helps everybody, I think, but it mainly helps the island.
yeah.
So,
it's true, it helps a
Yeah.
lot.
do you know, Tim you told me that, and I think Paulette did as well, that Tim was working on some kind, do you know, Al? And was Tim's group, and I think it was Friends of Trees and perhaps some others, were putting together some kind of a model ordinance for tree protection. I don't know if it's trees and habitat, but, because there are models out there. He was looking at that. I know I called him after Paulette told me that he convened a group, and I said, do you want me to send you some things? Because I had been gathering them, and he had a bunch himself, so he said, I'll let you know if I need anything. So do you know anything?
No, I don't.
No.
I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of talk about it.
Well, if we're looking at modification of our, current codes, wouldn't it be a good time to also get that in? Because that really
Yes, and I
could
think
help a lot.
part of the comprehensive plan, we should say, the codes, instead of being once 25 years change, look at it every 3 or 4 years, like the national code, electrical code, every 3 years it changes, and the building
Right.
code every 3. Why does the town code stay there for 25 years?
Because nobody is taking the time to really modify it or update it.
Exactly.
And everybody kind of points to everybody else, we need the lawyer, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm not saying I know anything about this, but I know enough about how you go out, call these agencies. It's so easy. National Arbor Society, you get model codes, you modify it for your local use, and that's it. And,
Yeah.
so I think it's,
So
I don't know. I mean, it's a diffusion of responsibility kind of thing, like who's supposed to do this? But could we get that clarified? Like, could we ask Tim, is he doing it? If not, does he need any help? And when's he
I
timelining?
can tell you, he can use all the help he can get.
No, I didn't. No, I don't believe so, because I know Paulette asked me to call him. I called him and said, hey, and he said, yeah, no, we're working on it. Would you talk to Tim
Yeah,
just to,
Very,
and I'm not trying to do, I mean,
I'll address it.
Tim's the expert. I'm thrilled about that. I'm just saying, could we maybe try to bring something out here to look at?
All this big crazy house thing has only been in the last 20 years.
Right.
The whole existence of Shelter Island,
Exactly.
except for the giant places that were estates,
Right.
hundreds of
right,
years ago,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
this is a new phenomenon, and we
It
just
is.
weren't prepared for it.
Oh, exactly.
Nobody is, you know?
But we can be now. I mean, we could at least.
You have to become prepared, yeah.
But I think we can stop, yeah, we can stop, if it desecrates the environment, then you can
That's
curtail
part
it.
of the comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
Read,
Which-
it's all in, on the code, it's all in the website, you can read all the
Right,
chapters. that
right.
Doing stuff.
Is that passed? I mean, do we have this
No.
comprehensive plan? So when will we?
Town is, when do they start reviewing it? Soon, like, next week or something, they start.
Today you started to review it.
They
Okay.
did?
So what, do you know roughly what?
It's in the paper, what's going on.
Oh, there is, okay, I missed
Each
that.
week, yeah.
Okay.
We did 2 chapters.
Okay.
That's kind of the plan.
Right.
Each work session.
That's great, okay, yeah.
There's no input from the public on those, right? Because there's no hearing, so, yeah, it's just,
There will
Well,
be
maybe
hearings
later on.
after.
right. Yeah.
Okay, that's
We
fine.
had that, we had that asterisk program.
Right, I know.
So
Yeah.
We don't have a public comment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
right.
Exactly, you gotta move it along and then get.
yeah, the meeting would be
One, I think,
long, like hours now.
Some of us, some
Right, exactly, yeah, yeah.
It's-
Well, you wanna get something done, and you can talk about all this kind of stuff, but, you know, moving it along, getting it where you want it to be, and then opening it up, at least expedites getting something done.
Well, you know,
Works.
years ago, you know, I was on the comprehensive plan,
Right. no.
and it all of a sudden totally disappeared.
Well,
We'd given
maybe
it to different, you know, boards, and it just literally, it just collapsed. We'd done hours and hours and hours of work on it, and it got shuffled off someplace. Nothing, no comments were ever made on it. It was nothing, it was
Was
like,
this in 2008?
Yeah,
I think it was before that,
94 they
Because you're
asked.
saying what was done is incorporated into the new one, is
2003, I
that
think
right?
it was. I mean, Don Kornrumpf was part of it, I was, and, you know, a couple of other people. We worked so hard on it for months, and all of a sudden it kind of got shoved aside and nothing was done. No review.
I can't speak to that.
Oh, I'm not asking you to, I'm just telling
I
you, it
know
was,
the 2008, there was a lot of people that were serious bit of work.
oh, no, I'm talking 2000,
Chose not at that time.
okay.
Right.
Well, I'm saying 2003,
Okay.
you know. no,
Well, you might have
it's been-
begun
It was
it,
pretty bad.
yeah.
It was very disappointing to those who were,
But yeah, and what I was saying is the town board at the time chose not to move
Yeah.
forward on it.
oh,
But
yeah,
now they are choosing to move forward on it, so we kind of have, right? I mean, we're trying.
yeah. I'm not saying anything about now, I'm just kind of saying because, you know, for me being on the board, we really, really worked hard. It was such a
Right.
disappointment. It was like,
Sure.
where did it go? What happened? And nobody, I don't know,
Right.
it's like, we never done anything.
And it's
And-
important for the town to
Well,
get.
it was.
more.
Really
I mean,
important.
I have my own copy, you know, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I make a motion, somebody make a motion to close the.
I so move.
All right,
Yeah.
Close.
All right.
All right.
See you in September.